All right, welcome. Let's use AI to upgrade this old Spring Boot application. So I have our famous app, Spring Pet Clinic. It's using, what are we on? 2.7.3 of Spring Boot, which means it's on Spring Framework 5. It's using Java 11. This is really old. We have Cline installed, and I'll show you how to set this up at the end of the video. But let's ask Cline for some help. Hi, future me here interjecting real quick. I just want to mention that what we are doing here is we are using the Cline Visual Studio Code developer plugin, hooking up to an online model. In this case, we're using Anthropic's Claude, and then we are connecting this to the built-in MCP server in Spring App Advisor. So we will be using Spring App Advisor with AI to upgrade my application. We're going to say, hi there, help me upgrade this Spring app. This will send the request off to the model. In this case, it's using Cline Anthropic Claude. And basically what it's saying is, hey, I found out this is a Spring Boot application. It's using Gradle. We have an MCP tool for Spring App Advisor. Let's ask it to help. I've left on the approval here to call the MCP model so we see it. And this is the same as the previous demos. It's doing advisor build config git. We will hit approve. This will again send a message to Claude after it calls MCP to get the build config. So it generates the build config. It's going out. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It is going out and it's saying, hey, next thing I got to do is call, let's get the upgrade plan. Hit approve. It'll call the MCP server, get the upgrade plan, and then it'll send that back to the model. So here it's saying, hey, look, we're on Java 11. We're on Spring Boot 2.7, Spring Framework 5, Hibernate old, JPA old. That's no good. We need to do the upgrade. And this should look very familiar if you've seen Spring App Advisor before. These are the steps for this. First off, Java 11 to 17. Then you can start upgrading Spring Boot. So here it says, what do you want to do? I'm going to say, hey, let's go with that first step. Let's upgrade Java 11 to 17. So it's going to call upgrade plan apply. I approve. All right, it's the MCP server, Spring App Advisor, has done its thing. It's made the change. We can see we've changed it to from Java 11 to 17. And it's on to the next step, which would be to get the build config again. But before we do that, I want to show over here, we see that it's gone from 11 to 17. If we look at our changes in Git, we see that it's gone from 11 to 17. That's the first step. Now from there, it's going to roll through the rest of the steps as you've seen before. Let's go ahead and just do one more to see what it looks like. So this has gone through and it's seen, hey, the next step is let's bump Spring Boot 2.7 to 3, Framework 5 to 6, etc., etc. Now this is really a big upgrade. Let's see how this goes. So we'll hit approve again to apply this plan. All right, step 2 has been applied. So we've made a bunch of major version updates. If you look in the source control changes, there are a ton of updates, including our major versions in build.gradle, but also changes where it needs to, from JavaX to Jakarta. etc. And this is still building with Gradle, so we'll see some errors for the time being. So let me go ahead and show you how I set this up. The first thing is I followed the instructions on the tech docs. So if you look for Spring App Advisor and the documentation, you'll find a step here for IDE integration using MCP. Those are going to walk you through in VS Code adding the Cline extension. So it is this one, cline.bot. You will have to sign up for an account, and you'll probably have to buy some tokens. It gives you a small amount of free tokens to get started. So all you do is add Cline to VS Code, and then in your configuration for Cline, you can pick which model. I'm using the default Cline with Anthropic Claude, but you can also add an MCP server. It's this icon right here that looks like 3 stacked servers. If you click on Settings and Configure MCP Servers, this is where you can paste in the configuration for Spring App Advisor. Again, that is found right here on the page. I've also found that I need to set Java Home and Gradle Home to my Java Home and Gradle Home. As the docs mentioned, this does not get inherited from your environment variables. So I put those in there. The one additional thing that I had to change was making sure that my authentication was properly set up to the Spring Enterprise repository. And that, again, is in the documentation. Although I found it a little bit hard to actually find. There are a couple of links in here. So if you follow this link, Spring Enterprise. So Spring Enterprise subscription for app developers. It shows you how to do this for Maven and Gradle. The step I did for Gradle was this one. Now this works when I am my local user, but when I am using the MCP server, I had to edit this in Gradle Home. So if you go to your command line and you do env and we're gonna look for Gradle, we can see Gradle Home. And if we go here, Gradle Home, we see that there is an init.d folder. Same as what's mentioned in the docs up here. If we go into init.d, we see I've added this spring init.gradle. I'm going to have to censor this because it has my key in it, but you can look in here, and let me do a less on this. So here you can see we're applying this plugin, Spring Enterprise repository plugin, and this is where we're following the docs to set the Spring Enterprise repository, my username and password, which will be blurred out in this. And it's both for the repository plugin as well as, what is the difference here? There are 2 pieces here for the project repositories and then the plugin management. So you'll want to make sure you get both of those. That's it for today. Thank you.